Sunday night, Southern California, very, very warm outside. People are out and about, and life is still good. In the midst of challenges, come on, guys, let's keep on living. Tonight's program, I'm very, very excited about. On this program we've been doing called Tim Storey Live. I was sitting on the couch one day talking to some people, and actually created this program right there. And the next thing you know, it began to take off. And it's the whole idea is conversations that matter, conversations that bring change. What a group last week and the week before, and the last few weeks before that. Tonight, I want to do just one person because I find him extremely intriguing, and so does the world. Grant Cardone, CEO of Cardone Capital, 8 books, 13 best-selling business programs, runs 17 businesses and probably more by now. Forbes calls him the #1 social media influencer in the world, founder of the 10X movement, which is exactly that. It is a movement. You see him all over the news. You see him all over social media and literally traveling all over the world. When a guy decides to have a big conference on Super Bowl weekend, you begin to wonder until over 35,000 entrepreneurs show up. Success magazine cover, husband, great father, and tremendous man. So let's welcome to Tim Storey Live, Mr. Grant Cardone.
Tim, how you doing, my friend?
Good to see you.
Good to see you, buddy.
You're looking good. Now you got a haircut and then you restyled it a little bit more right now.
Well, I'll be able to tell you more. I'll tell you more about the haircut tomorrow, but I got to keep it on the down low for everybody else. Thank you for that beautiful opening and introduction. It's very nice of you, Tim, and I love you to death. I've always had a very kindred. I think a lot of people probably have this special connection with you, but I know I have, and I know Elena loves you to death. So I appreciate you having me on tonight.
Thank you. Grant, one of the things that reason I want to talk to just you tonight, last week we had Deepak Chopra and 2 others, and then other weeks we had sometimes 3 or 4 people, is because it's amazing how life has raised you up as this international leader. I was telling the story the other day that I was in Marbella, Spain, and I was just going through the nice area where they have all the yachts that you've seen.
So beautiful there.
And a guy literally came out of a restaurant, and he said to me, "Are you the guy from Grant Cardone?" That's how he said it. And I said, "Yes." He says, "Oh my gosh, I love this Grant Cardone." And we begin the dialogue, and then Grant,
he didn't know it's Grantino Cardone.
He didn't know all the details about me. He just knows that he had seen me on the 10X platform. Then the same thing happened when I was in Dubai. I was just rolling through the airport, and these 2 businessmen came up, and these guys happened to be from Switzerland. So I started to think to myself, this thing has really gone worldwide. When you think about it, a young guy from Louisiana loses your father at 10 years of age, comes from a middle-class family, 5 kids, a mother who's doing her best, you're the youngest. To have this worldwide platform is unusual. It doesn't happen often. And I know you know it, but sometimes we don't know it because we're living it.
Yeah.
And so from the outside, I get a different perspective because in just being at the last conference in Las Vegas and
by the way, thank you for being there. Thank you so much for coming as a peer of mine to be there and support me. And then for me to have you there and say, "Hey, Tim, pop up on stage." So, because I can't there's not very many people you can just throw in front of 12,000 people and say, go roll it out. And you always do.
No, thank you for that. And the reason for being there is because I believe when a woman or a man is having their time, real friends need to just stand next to them. It's not even what do I get? How does this help me? Doggone it, stand next to the person. And that is why I showed up, is just to stand next to you and not even like say, hey, look at me, I'm here, but just to show up, because somehow, some way life went ding and said, Grant, you know, you went through all this stuff from 15 to 25. You were wondering and wandering, trying to find yourself. And then it started to emerge.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't feel like it went ding.
How's it feel?
Like, you know, I know a lot of your history and some of those guys. The phenomenal thing about the 10X movement is that it was really literally created. It wasn't written. It wasn't produced. It wasn't a break on TV or radio. One of the proudest things in my life is that was made. It was created out of an idea, and then more than just the idea, like I pushed that thing into society. You know, I really there's number of ideas that I've had over my career that I've had to push that were not either the idea was too new, or I called it the wrong thing, or I presented it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Or rather than selling it, I shoved it down people's throats, you know?
Yeah.
The 10X movement really, it was almost like, because the first business I had, Tim, was this idea that I would change the automobile industry. I was in an industry that I hated. And I hated it just because, look, you grew up in Compton, I grew up in Lake Charles, right? If I grew up in Compton, I'd have probably been with the gangs. Mm-hmm. And I'd have figured out how to run a gang better. And I'd been 25 years old. I'd been out pitching gangs. Guys, there's another way to do this thing, man. Guys.
Oh, yeah.
We could get arrested, man. We could get shot. Let's make some money. Let's make some real money. I would have figured that out because I had that thing. And so, but, you know, I grew up in Lake Charles, Louisiana. There weren't any gangs. It wasn't cool to be in a gang. You either worked in the refineries or you didn't work. And the only job you could get was a sales job because there was no salary. And I just come out of college. I didn't want to be a salesman. You know, I would have actually found more street cred in being a gangster than a salesman. Yeah. But that's the only job I could get, because to get a refinery job, you had to know somebody in the unions.
Let's go there for a second. You know, some things in life you decide, some things you discover. Yeah. You're telling me right now, you discovered this 10X life. It's not like you sat one day and imagined it, huh? Well, the funny thing is, and the reason I brought you back to the sales thing is because I've had ideas my whole life that weren't popular. And when I went through the car sales thing, I hated it. And embracing the disgust and the literally, I had this terrible experience in it. Yeah. How long it took, what I was asked to ask people, how people looked at me. They viewed me as a hustler and a scammer and a sales guy. And I hated all that so much. I ended up embracing that. And it became a business where I showed people a better way. Rather than just complaining about an industry, I said, hey, there's a better way to do this. And it actually became a business for me. Oh, yeah. But even though it made me some money, it never really caught on. I mean, I changed the car business, actually. I don't talk about this much, but I changed the whole industry. But I heard a man say once, he's like, you know, if you change one person's life, man, you've made a difference. And I thought about that. It was catchy. Mm-hmm. But there was a problem I had with it. I'm like, dude, I got to change more than one person's life. Yeah. Or the industry. And so the 10X thing was born out of 2008, very similar to what we're going through today. I was terrified. I'm scared today about what's happening in the world.
And the 10X movement was just a discovery that like, hey dude, I'm operating on too little stuff. My think's too small. So it was a discovery. It was a discovery to solve a problem for me though. This wasn't going to be a hit movie, you know?
Yeah. I like that you just told us that you admit that you're scared.
Yeah.
Right now. And if I could just interject this.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, what a lot of people don't understand is somebody's backstory on why they're so doggone resilient. And I remember when Magic Johnson was going through some trouble, he said, Tim, people don't understand that I've been through this, I've been through that, I've been through this. And you remember the story when we were a kid, because you were, brought to church as a kid, and so was I. There was this guy named David, and he fought Goliath. The whole idea was, I killed a lion, I killed a bear, I could take down him. So I think some people, Grant, don't know that you had to kill some lions, some bears, and that's why you think you could take Goliath.
Yeah, well, maybe more for me, it's more been like I've been eaten by the bear and the lion. And now I'm like, dude, nothing can happen to me.
Okay, I gotcha.
So for me, it's been losing the battles and discovering. I was brought up on survival. The kind of survival where you're just scratching through. And then I once heard a man say, he's like, dude, you're going to survive, bro. There's no getting out of this. Nothing's going to happen to you. And it just blew me out of my physical being. It freed me from some Lake Charles, middle class, physical 5'8", limitations, lost battles. It freed me for a second. I'm like, oh wow, I am gonna survive. There's nothing that can happen to me if I go broke. And immediately the calculation, it was very much like a mathematical formula for me. Like, 1 + 1 = 2, bro. And it is never gonna equal freedom.
Yes.
Adding one customer at a time, going to speak at one event, changing the lives of 12 people. Like, you cannot make a difference at this level. And that was really the 10X, the birthing of the 10X movement. Yeah.
So now you're faced with a different dilemma. We have COVID-19. We've never seen anything like it. It's hit the entire world. As you know, an earthquake hits one area, tornado hits another, hurricane. This hit the whole world, okay?
Yeah.
So we come fresh off 10X Las Vegas, which, the amazing conference, the people you interviewed, had on stage, what you did, what Elena did. And then all of a sudden we were hit with this major, major crisis. Now here's the thing. This one reason I want to talk to you one-on-one is that now we're looking to you. People are looking to you. And the way you said that there was not a man that stepped up when your father passed at 10. Because see, the man of the house does three things. He guides you, which is direction. He guards you, which is protection. He governs you, which is administration. So if you have no guidance, no guarding, and no administration, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So with so many people that follow you, now they're looking for Grant Cardone to guide, to guard, to govern. What's that feel like?
Well, what does it feel like? Look, I've never looked at myself as a leader. Like that's, that's not my journey. My journey is to go win and inspire through by doing the Super Bowl on the Super Bowl event, putting 34,000 people in an event. One of the great accomplishments of my life was selling that event out because I had zero support for this. Elena was the most supportive, but like everybody else was like, dude, you are whacked. You even said it in your intro. You start to wonder. I think is what you said.
I did.
I'm like, this guy needs his own TV show. You start to wonder. And look, my staff, Jared, Sherry, there was, if we would have voted, taken 150 votes out of the people that work with me every day, I would have had 149 votes. Don't do this. Steve Harvey says, man, what's wrong with you, man?
Yeah.
I mean, why? Like you can pick any weekend you want. It's Marlins Stadium. It's like you can get it another time. So I'm like, no, it's going to be important to do it on that date. So, I'm just doing my life, man. I'm trying to figure it out just like everybody else. And I refuse not to be me in the process. My life got really screwed up after my dad died. And it would look like that the thief was the drugs. But really, if we look at it, the drugs were not the issue. Really what the issue was, me trying to please all the people around me.
Yes.
And being stuck in a school system that was slower than I wanted to move at. Boredom and trying to become popular have been the great downfalls in my life. Once I became popular, I was popular 1 year in school. I hated myself. And then I flipped the other side and didn't like that either. Mm-hmm. And that's when I started mixing the drugs, right? Trying to please people around me, right? And then you add the boredom, like this working remote, I've been down 2 months. This thing is killing people. Yeah. And I know the virus, I don't believe the numbers, frankly. I believe heart attacks and asthma cases and respiratory issues and dementia and just, normal life is taking people's lives, and they're all being called COVID now. Boredom kills a lot of people. Mm-hmm. No purpose kills people every day. Just, it's not official for 70 years.
So this idea of when you talk about how your father led more by example than by words. Yeah. So I'm getting this from you, that maybe you're a little bit of your father here, and that you're leading by example, because you're saying I'm just living. I'm raising two amazing daughters. I've got a wife. I'm working things out too. You're just doing your life.
I'm going through the most stressful 2 months of my life. I feel it on my marriage. I feel it with my kids. I feel it with my employees. I feel it with the economy. I feel it with $1 billion worth of debt. I feel it with my lenders. I feel it with my renters, 7,000 renters. Nobody is prepared for this stuff. Yeah. Everybody is figuring out. Warren Buffett's selling $7 billion worth of airline stocks he just bought a couple years ago. Like, he losing 25% of his portfolio. The old man's the best in the world. So the point is that like nobody is excluded from this spanking that's going on.
Yeah, you know what? And to be honest with you, I love what you're saying, because I think there's something in the power of honesty, of I don't know. And I think a lot of parents are afraid to say, I don't know. A lot of teachers BS and make up things, but they don't know. I think that in my place of leadership, sometimes I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how things are going to be at the end of the year, but I do know that guys like us seem to make a way where there was no way. Mm-hmm. I remember talking to a football player. You remember Eric Dickerson, the running back?
Yeah, sure.
So I said to Eric, when the offensive line is blocking for you, how much space do you need to get through the hole? He goes, one of the greatest questions I've ever heard. He goes, I need that much space. He goes, and then I'm through. And I think that's similar to you, that you look for these breaks, and watching you look for breaks, and then you get through that break, and then you have some form of
I've been looking for a break for 50 years, man. It's an inside joke. I'm like, did Elena put you up to this or what? Because I keep telling her, I'm like, baby, we're about to get our break.
Oh, you're going to get a break.
We're about to get it. Now I tell people that and they laugh at me. I'm like, the guy called me the other day. How you doing? I said, I'm waiting for my break, dude.
Can I tell you one reason you're going to get the break? Because I think you trust my leadership to smart leaders.
Yeah, well, dude, I wish, tell me why, but tell me when. And why am I having to wait so long?
Okay, I'm going to tell you one reason you're going to get the break is because life sometimes just chooses people to be the leader. And it's like, you're it. It's like when we're kids and we're playing tag football. And maybe you weren't the best player, but someone says you're the captain. Okay, you're the captain. So you're the leader. So I believe that life tapped you on the shoulder and said, lead some people because you give a rip. And so when I see so many 10X people, Grant, and I see the energy at the conferences, and I came to Orange County and I saw the energy. They're standing on their chairs. They're waiting in line for 3 hours. Okay. This is not just to see hype. This is because there are people that say, this man may actually have a message that can change my life. So the reason you're going to get a break, this is so powerful, because God always delivers his deliverers. You know, you could think a guy is done, but God will deliver his deliverers. You could think a guy is finished for good, and somehow, some way, doggone it, they rise back up. I see it over and over again. That's my message.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I just, you know, I don't know. I can't imagine God waiting this long, though. I'm like, why are you waiting so long, man? God, like, let's make it a little easier, because I can't find the break, dude. See, what I do is I think, and look, maybe I don't know, maybe I hadn't identified what that break is. What does it finally look like to arrive? For me, I don't know that happens for me.
Yeah.
And that for me, every time I get close, I move the bar again. Like when we finished that gig in Vegas, like I walked away saying, okay, dude, if I never did another one, I did that one. And it was special. It was special. It was more special than Miami. In Miami, I walked away Miami completely satisfied 2 years ago. I left that event in Vegas and went on this special project that a lot of people will hear about in October. And I was gone from my family for two and a half weeks. Came home, interrupted it because of the COVID thing.
Oh, yeah.
Flying back on my plane, flying back into Miami. Lane and the kids were in LA. They came, picked me up. We're coming to Miami because I gotta make sure my business doesn't fall apart. And on the way over there, I told Elaine, I'm like, dude, we were that close. Like I needed one toothpick on the bonfire for this thing to go into nuclear. And that toothpick was set up. That one little thing was set up. I'm like, we're going to go nuclear here in the next 4 months.
Yeah.
And then bam, COVID hits. I'm like, that's God doing that.
Yeah. No, I totally hear you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to me, a Grant Cardone break is something very, very simple. And this is going to sound interesting. Watch. When I see you with the girls teasing around, and I see Elena's Instagram and she goes and buys 2 kittens or gets 2 kittens. They gave them to her, I think. And then they're going to say, let's see Papa's reaction. And you love the cats. And then the cats are your best friends. Okay. Oddly enough, that's a little bit of a break. I'm going to tell you why. Because see,
Elena's like, please do.
See, watch. When you're disappointed, hi, Elena, there she goes.
I'm stepping in for this story.
Step in. When a person is disappointed, you guys, it makes them fade. They come back. When I saw the cats, and Elena got the cats, and I saw you get happy like that, I saw you move forward. Okay? Disappointment does this. Expectation does this. When Grant Cardone gets expectation again, watch out. Because what's going to happen?
That's interesting.
Is life will close a door to open up the door.
Yeah, that's interesting because, you know, and Elena and I have talked about this before. I get hit pretty hard, right?
Elena's liking this.
I get hit pretty hard. Yeah, I get hit. And Elena and I were just talking about this maybe the end of this week. And I get hit pretty hard in the marketplace, right? So, I mean, by people, mostly people. And the size of the deals I'm doing, they're you know, there's an enormous responsibility. It's not all planes and dinners and, you know, just victories. And what happens for me is I go inward, the disappointment that you talked about. It definitely takes a shot at me. And somewhere in the last couple of years, it seemed to be a pattern. Like I would go into this retreat But they only last, I'm starting to trust that they're only going to last about maybe 36 hours, maybe 48 hours, 2 days and then something converts.
Mhm.
And then I convert it to something else. It's a phenomenal thing. And it goes back to that survival deal, right? Like, oh,
100%, Grant. It goes back from you losing one job, then another job, then 15 to 25, wondering and wandering, trying to find your way, right? And then saying, okay, if none of my uncles rise up, I guess I have to rise up.
I got to be the uncle.
You got to be the uncle. And you became Uncle G. But Elena knows this, is that when wisdom comes into a woman's life or a man's life, watch out. Because wisdom helps us make very difficult decisions that sometimes we would not have made if we were not wise. This is what I see in the best. When I would sit with a Lee Iacocca and we would just go at it. I was so young and he would just talk to me. He'd talk about his losses and his losses. And he'd say, but Tim, sometimes in the middle of a loss, I would just rest and a thought would come to my mind. And that would be the answer. Vidal Sassoon said so many times he almost went under. And he said, and a thought would come to my mind. And that's that wisdom that comes, that all of a sudden you go from nowhere to now here. Doggone it. We've all three of us have been there where you feel like I'm in nowhere's land, doggone it. And next thing you know, boom, you're back on track. Yeah. Because one thing, and I like you having Elena there, is that Grant, whether you like it or not, people are looking to you. It's just whether you like it or not.
That's right.
I'm rolling through airports and they're wearing your hats.
Yeah. And that's good. But you see what comes with that is like, okay, like
Responsibility.
oh yeah, well, I got to be a certain way.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't be funny. I can't make a joke. Like there's no joke that I can't tell that's not too soon. Like to me, I get over stuff pretty quick. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that happened yesterday. That's funny now. So it doesn't matter how personal it is to me. Like it's just funny now because it's over. We survived it. But when you start getting eyeballs on you and people start having opinions on you, and then they want the vampires want to suck off of you.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we're going to use that name to get us likes and comments.
That's right.
It's crazy, but I remember when I was before Elena, when I was knocking on doors, dude, cold doors. And Charlie Sheen didn't know me, man. I hadn't been hanging out with Oprah. Nobody knew me, dude. Hey guys, my name's Grant Cardone. And they're like, yeah, it's a little short dude,
Yeah.
I'm hustling at 35 years old. I didn't know what I was doing, but I believed in what I was doing, but I didn't know for sure whether it would help people. I thought it would. I knew it made sense. Like Lee Iacocca, I had an idea, I knew, okay, I know this is the right thing, but I don't have any proof. I just know the other thing that you guys are doing right now is stupid. It's just ridiculous. So like the bankruptcy video, I'm sure you saw the bankruptcy video, right?
I saw it.
Dude, somebody said, you're a marketing genius. I'm like, guys, it was a joke.
Yeah.
That was not like, we didn't put that together. Just like you and I did this tonight. We sat down, let's talk. There's been no preparation, right? It just popped up out of nowhere. Well, dude, the whole universe just lights up. And people go with it. And then, within the team, they're like, dude, you got to be more responsible than that. You got to understand how some people are going to take that and use it against you. I'm like, I don't want to operate like that. I want to be me. And to me, it's uncomfortable for everybody, including myself, by the way. I'm talking about my team.
Yes.
How the wife feels now, how the sister feels, how my brother feels, how he's doing business with people. And they're like, your brother's filing bankruptcy. I got 3,700 investors. I know I got them. I know what I do for them, So,
I like this talk.
We raised $1 billion, $360 million in the last 25 months. People are like, man, you can't just be a cowboy anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I am a cowboy. I am a cowboy. I am like this is who I am. And I don't know that I want to give that up for anything.
Elena, what's Elena's take on that?
But let me just say this, because dude, when I gave that up in the past, okay, I became somebody I didn't like.
Yeah.
And if I die short of my goals, financial goals, my material goals, but I can say when I die, hey dude, I did it. I got to be me the whole time and I didn't sell out. I don't think I'm going to have to. I don't think it's going to be a choice for me. I think I'm going to get to be me. I think Elena's going to be saying, that son of a bitch did it exactly the way he wanted to do it, win against everybody, and he still made it work.
I hear you loud and clear. And I love your honesty.
Yeah.
Elena, what's your take on what he was saying about talking, being himself?
Look, I'm not trying to stop him. I do a different role in the relationship. I run behind scenes operations, whether he's aware of it or not. We are upping our game and our level. And I told him he is at the helm. He's been trusted by me and others to run the head of the ship. And it's like what you're saying, whether he likes it or not, it's the situation he's in. And as a leader, sometimes you have to be willing to make sacrifices. And I still want him to be himself. I also want to do whatever we need to do in secondary support so that he can not feel so stressed out all the time, and that so he can understand and be more empathetic to maybe what other people are experiencing and feeling, and just try to think with that a little bit without it being exhausting.
Yeah.
Because I understand the most difficult part about being in the light or owning that responsibility is it isn't doing what you do in love. That's all easy, and meeting the people and shaking the hands, even though contrary to what people think that would be exhausting, that's not what's exhausting. What's exhausting is having to monitor every single little thing you do and look at the ramifications. And I understand that is exhausting.
Yeah.
However, to some degree, without trying to put a complete cap on him, I do want him to realize he does need a little bit of that. And then the rest of the team can do a better job with supporting you, being you, making more good works of his known, showing more examples of when he is empathetic. Or you see, the thing for me is I don't get as offended as everybody else because I know him and I know his heart and I know his intentions. And what I try to tell him is a lot of times the viewer might not know him like I know him. And some people are evil and try to even make it worse and twist it. And then there's some people that just don't know him, so they take it out of context just for the mere fact that they don't know him. And what hurts me as a wife is that other people can perceive him negatively just because they don't know him. And then ultimately they lose out. I don't care about us looking good. I care that he lost somebody.
Nah, I didn't lose
their
anybody.
Opportunity of getting better, because I know that his data helps people and it changes lives, and he is making a difference. And what you said, he has amazing content. So that's what upsets me, is that they missed out on an opportunity.
Grant, can I say one thing before you respond to your wonderful wife's words? Number one, she's very wise. I mean, I don't think it was just her wisdom you were chasing when you first saw her, but you ended up with a very wise woman. And the reality for any of us is that when I was a child, I played like a child, acted like a child, but damn it, we're into some real man stuff here. People look to Tim Storey to get him out of shit.
Yeah.
And for real, I get calls from people who are thinking about killing themselves. They're thinking about taking their lives, Grant. So I would say I get an average of probably 20 calls a year of people to say, I got to get to Tim Storey, and if I don't, I'm taking myself out. Well, here's what sucks. A lot of times they take themselves out. So then I start thinking to myself, hey, I don't know if I want to be the comeback guy. Man, that's a lot of damn responsibility to be this comeback guy, because I too am funny. I can dance. We were all dancing at their little get together.
Yeah, but you can really dance.
But Grant, I became the guy that knows how to get people out of a really bad spot.
Yeah.
So when people see me around, they see me many times not as just the funny, happy, creative guy or the kid who made it out of Compton. They see me as the comeback guy. Like, man, my life's in dire straits. He may have answers. And so, Grant, do I see your point? 100%. Because
yeah, well, look, hey, I admit, I am extremely immature. Like I am an immature person.
I'm getting some things out of you I haven't got from you ever.
No, I am. I have never ever like I'm an open book. People. I told Elena the other day. I said, you know, there's nothing anyone's going to say about me that I'm like, yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Like I go down the whole list, man. Right out of the book, all the weaknesses. Like, yeah, I got that one. Oh yeah, ain't giving it up either. You know, immaturity is like one of them. Like I am an immature prankster. I love being a prankster. I can probably go from prankster to serious like business gangster faster than any other human being on the planet.
I agree with that.
Dude, I can be making jokes in the restroom and the next minute be signing the biggest deal of my life.
Yes.
And to me, there is the beauty of that. And again, I'm still in discovery.
Oh yeah. You are in discovery.
The beauty of 100%. The beauty of it.
Yes.
Is I don't have to change who I am.
Yes.
Telling a penis joke while I'm taking a leak or closing a deal with the same pen and I didn't even wash my hands. So, you know, so for me, it's all funny.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, Elena knows who I am inside. And I know who I am inside. And I think that's really important for people, your audience, to know, dude, who are you inside?
Yes.
Clean up everything. So when I run into a guy that I find out, you know, that is a bad guy, dude, I'm gonna tell people over and over he's a bad guy. And people are gonna be like, why are you doing that? Because I know that I'm a good guy.
Yeah. I'm
not worried about getting called out for doing the same thing. I haven't, I don't, and I won't.
Mm-hmm.
And he shouldn't. So it's really, really important for people to be, the people that are authentic and transparent are really buzzwords today. But to me, those are spiritual opportunities. I mean, if you want to meet God, really meet him, not just on Sundays, but spend time with him. And know that he's proud of you. Like I know people like, hey, you believe in God? Dude, not only do I believe in God, I know God is proud of Grant Cardone.
Yeah, I believe that.
And I know that personally for myself.
Yeah, because I see you behind the scenes, Grant. I see when you help the underdog.
Yeah.
I see how much money you guys raise through your for-profit for nonprofit to change people's lives. Yeah. And I see after 10X was over, when Elena is in one area, you're in another, and people are just coming up and you guys are talking to people forever. So this is what I do see.
Yeah. But those are nice charitable things. They look good on the surface. It's great PR and everything. But, you know, letting people go, right? Letting people go. That doesn't seem like that would be a spiritual, charitable thing to do. But man, let me tell you something. That's what leaders do when they have the courage to take the responsibility to say, hey, you know what? I got to do something really, really hard here.
Yeah.
So that I can save most of the people on this journey.
This thing called leadership, it's a whole different responsibility than I think any of us three saw coming. Mm-hmm. So let me ask both of you a question.
She's gonna get out of here. I just wanted her to make me look good for a second.
Let me have her answer one question because she's my friend. To be common means to be normal, regular, standard. Why do you think your husband has chosen not to be standard, regular, normal? I'm asking Elena. He's not normal. He's not regular. He's not standard. He's uncommon in this case.
I think because he's challenged himself his whole life to discover, figure it out, educate himself, and now he's at an opportunity where he can be a teacher and he's good at it and he has wisdom to impart. And I think he's willing and has been willing to step into those shoes and fulfill that. So I don't think he understands that normal is a failing formula, and therefore
I do understand that. You're saying I do understand that.
That you do understand, sorry,
right,
that you do understand that normal is a failing formula.
Yeah.
And that's the whole birth of, you know, the 10X movement and why he's now making it okay. He wrote the book,
Yeah.
Be Obsessed or Be Average, to give all of the unnormal people a seal of approval, because society in general normally says, be normal, fit in, don't want too much, be happy with where you're at. And he's trying to give the seal of approval to, hey, don't be normal, live outside of the box, push yourself. And that's where the misfits or all the non-normal people gravitate toward him, because he speaks to the potential inside of every person that has goals and dreams. And that's why I don't want those people denied access to him.
Yeah. And that's why I said earlier, I'm like, what I do, if that's all it does to close the gate, then they were welcome, but didn't walk through.
Yeah.
So like some guy said the other day, I was a real fan until you did blah, blah. I said, dude, then you were never a fan.
Yeah.
You're not a fan. You're not a follower. You're weak. And if that's all it took to throw you up, you're not ready.
Yeah, I agree. And if somebody's judging you for one day and one prank or one movement that we do,
you're not studying me. See, and that's the culture we're in today. It's so easy to listen to anything and everything. You know, when I was growing up, like when you were growing up, you and I are similar ages. I think you're a little older than me, but
yeah, I am. But I get Botox and all kinds of stuff out here in LA.
Yeah. So
You look fantastic.
Dude, to get music, when I was growing up, it cost you money.
It's true.
To play Asteroids, the Asteroids game, it cost me $0.25. I would spend any given day, I'd spend $30 in a day. In an afternoon, I didn't have $30.
Yeah.
So today you can get anything for free. Like you can just get anything today. Games, music, information, misinformation, liars, like it's just endless. And it's a shame because nobody studies now. People just gather data. And the problem with that is it creates confusion. Elena talked about me being a teacher. I've always known that there's a hack. If you can teach it, you'll learn it.
Mm.
Yeah. Wow.
And I have been a teacher my whole life, not my whole life maybe, but in my mid-20s when I was in sales and I hated sales. I started teaching other people how to sell. Dude, I became a genius because now I'm not just an artist. Mm-hmm. Now I can tell you how to lay it on. Mm. I need to tell you how long to let it dry. Like I know what two colors make a rainbow, you know, like how do you actually create add these, like I started studying. To be a teacher, you have to study.
Yes.
And today people unfortunately aren't studying. So, just the fact that you're asking me questions tonight.
I have a good one for you. You ready?
Yeah. It allows me to continue my discovery though.
Now,
as a teacher.
Can we still 10X our life in the midst of times that do not look 10X?
Not only can you have to now. You don't have a choice.
Okay, so this is what people are looking for out of you, doggone it.
Yeah, dude, you have to now. Okay, like you have to now. 10X doesn't always mean an expansion outward though, by the way. Like people are like, hey man, you let people go, that's not 10X. Oh yes, it is. If you look at the veracity and speed at which I did that, We were one day into this event. I probably let the first division in America go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like, I'm not bragging about that, but I'm like, if you're going to go through, my mom used to say, I think she stole it from one of Winston Churchill. She's like, if you're going through hell, skip.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
that was Churchill. When you're going through hell, don't stop.
But my mama never told me that. Okay. My mama just said that was her quote. and so I've always said that, dude, if you're going through hell, get through it as fast as you can.
Yeah.
You know, and don't keep going back to it. The normal thing, the middle class is basically, it's hell on earth. It's normal. It's do just enough. It's lazy boy time. That whole thing has been stripped off. This 10X thing is going to get bigger, faster now than ever before. Because anybody that was comfortable at 2X just found out, oh shit, 2X is nothing.
Okay.
Because it was just all taken away from you. Okay. Disney cut their dividend. There's going to be probably 1 or 2 airlines go out of business forever. There's going to be hotels abandoned across America everywhere. Now, the question is on the other side of this, because you're not going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It goes back to that survival thing. Everybody gets through this. Everybody. The question now on the other side, will you be bigger or smaller because you'll not be the same?
Wow, wow, wow.
And nobody will be the same. The companies won't be the same. The brands won't be the same. Nothing is the same. Industries will be gone forever. Anybody that was in trouble before this is in more trouble now. Okay. We were on our way to orbit before this. Okay. It's going to pull me down 10,000 feet, maybe 20,000, maybe 30,000. Dude, I'm still going to be in orbit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happened in 2008. 2008, I said, this will never happen to me again. I had nothing to do with the mortgage crisis. I had nothing to do with the banks. I had nothing to do with the Lehman crisis. I had nothing to do with it except I was not big enough not to get whacked down to my ankles.
Okay.
I was begging. I had gone from, having a little bit of wealth to being a pauper, like literally begging, like in scarcity, because I wasn't in a position godly enough, big enough, grand enough, with enough prosperity to where when the whacking happened, which they always come every 10 or 12 years, I couldn't keep flight.
Yeah.
So this time, yeah, okay, so we're not going to go to the moon right now yet. I gotta recalibrate, pull everything in, and then go 10X again. But it's going to take a second because right now you can't. Right now in the economy, you're pushing a string right now. It's not going to really go any place. It just crumples up. But people need to know. You've been warned. Little thinking gets punished. Old thinking gets punished.
Yes. All right. So really think this through.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you a quick story because it's gonna make your mind go.
I'm gonna run. I love you.
We love Elena.
I gotta go.
Elena, you're amazing.
To bed.
I don't know who's fixing your hair, but it worked. Grant, there was a friend of mine that I had, and he talked behind my back for some reason. This was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And he was jealous, and he'd say that Tim is a sellout. He sold out from where he was in religion.
Yeah.
He turned Hollywood. He's a sellout. But to me, he should have always asked for favors. So I just kept cutting him back. I slowly cut him back because I learned that from some of the older smart guys. They just said, don't even blast anybody. Just slowly cut him back. So one day he got a hold of me and he said, Tim, how come you don't return my calls like you used to? I said, well, I'm going to give you the honest answer because you talk behind my back. And let me tell you the guys you talked to. And I went through the 5 different guys that he talked behind my back. And then he got emotional. He said, I did it. I did do that. He said, probably out of jealousy. And he said, but I want to come back in. But I want to be honest with you. I talked to my therapist, who was very brilliant. This lady, she taught at USC, and she said, don't let him all the way back. Don't let him all the way back. Forgive him, care about him from a distance, but keep on going. That's difficult in what we do. And partnership in your life I've seen has changed from time to time. Right?
Dude, I let a lot of people in.
Yeah, I'm listening.
There's nobody shares. Like, I have shared a lot of light with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I do it with my staff. I am probably like, again, I'll raise my hand when I do something wrong, and I know the things I do right. Like, most companies do not share the limelight with as many staff as you see a guy like me share with.
I mean, I see, like, Alan Lazar is my friend.
Yeah.
I actually introduced you to Alan. Hi, Alan. And Alan's doing a good job. And I see how you put him on your social media. You put on all your other friends on social media that you do.
Yeah.
To Tim Grover.
Ed Milet. I mean, I have taken the time to make.
Tim Grover, Ed Milet, Tim Storey, Coach Burt. All of us know each other now because you put us on the stage. Just so you know.
Yeah. I mean, I have, like, number one, you got to have the stage. And number two, you got to be willing to share it. And in the space that we're in, I mean, there's only 40 or 50 names. It's not like I know where I rank in the 40 or 50 names,
Yep.
and I know what the other guys do about whether they have stars around them or they're the only star.
Okay. So take me to.
I have never wanted to be the only star.
Yeah.
I've had people tell me, man, dude, like, I actually had a guy that made one of the other top 3 or 4 guys in the world, made him. Okay. And he says to me, he's like, look, man, I was working this guy because the guy came to one of my staff and told my staff, he's like, don't do that when you're around Grant. It takes shine away from him. And the guy came and told me that. And I went to Bill and I said, Bill, I want my guys to shine.
Yeah.
Okay. My universe gets brighter the more stars I got around me.
I hear you.
I want other people to shine, dude. I don't want to be the only light.
How important is the power partnership to you? You have Elena, you have the girls.
I don't want to be out there the North Star. The North Star looks like a lonely star.
Yeah.
And by the way, the North Star is actually brighter when it's out there with other stars.
Yeah.
I don't want to be by myself. I did the by myself game. And I want to be around other people that are great. And I want to share that. Now, it is very, very disappointing when people later don't appreciate that. It is one of the big disappointments that I experience in my life, where people do turn and talk. There is a lot of that thing you call going on in the space. And that just means I'm playing too small a game, dude, for me to even be thinking about that stuff.
Yeah.
So, when I got Kevin Hart on my stage, I'm like, Kevin, what does 10X mean to you? And he's like, nah, that's a great question. And I asked Magic, and like these guys are all popping off right away, man. They know what 10X means.
Yeah, they do.
Sylvester Stallone, I interviewed Sly Stallone. He's like, dude, if I'd had a guy like you around, man, I'd own the Rambo series.
Yes.
The Rocky, I'd own Rocky. I wouldn't have sold it, right? I'd still have a piece of it. But the point of that is you just got to keep reaching for stars, man.
Okay.
And some of them are going to disappoint you. They're going to burn out, go into black holes, fizzle, betray you. Betrayal is just a human condition. Yeah. Didn't one of those dudes betray Jesus?
Yeah, Judas.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be a story without him.
Yeah. I hear you.
Makes the story so much better.
All right, so watch this. Great leaders, I have this quote, they don't waste time on things that do not bring value. You seem to have an eye for things that bring value. And even if I even bring you a project, even though we're friends, you'll say, Tim, let's look at this. What is this really going to bring the kind of value? And I like that, because in watching the big boys make deals, that's one thing I got to be, is a fly on the wall to real powerful dudes in Beverly Hills as a young life coach. I'd see them make deals. I'd see real smart guys come up, and then they'll say, I don't know. I mean, it's got to bring value. It has to work. So strong leaders, they don't waste time on things that do not bring value. Add to that quote.
No, that's true, man. Like you got to pick things that are going to work. And this is why I tell people, look, there's certain things you need to follow. You know, money's one of them. You don't need to love money. I didn't say love money. I said follow the money.
Yeah. So you stepped right into another one earlier. Listen to this one.
Yeah.
Great leaders, they find their own authenticity and stay with it. So this is very interesting here, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story. I remember the first time I saw Prince. I was 18 years of age, and he showed up at a nightclub I was at, and they booed him off the stage on his third song. First one they knew the first song. I Want to Be Your Lover. It was his song. By the third song, him in the spandex, they couldn't handle it. They booed him off the stage. Okay.
Where was this?
This was in Los Angeles.
Okay.
It was almost like being at the Apollo.
Wow.
They booed Prince off the stage. Okay. But Prince never stopped being Prince, even though they booed him off the stage.
Yeah.
He was authentically himself throughout and became an icon in what he did. So great leaders, and you've heard that saying before, if you've been born an original, don't die a copy.
Yeah.
So one thing I'm hearing from you tonight is, doggone it, I gotta be authentic to myself. You know, I'm not my brother. I'm not my twin brother. I'm not anybody else. I'm me. Why is authenticity so important?
You know, I don't know. I mean, I know that it's been important for me, right? Because it's just never felt good to fit in.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I fitting into? The way I was raised, fitting in, you fit into this. I mean, even if you got to the top of the food chain, you were still a sucker.
Yeah. Can you go 15 more minutes tonight?
Yeah, sure. I'm fine.
We're bobbing and weaving. This is Grant. You know, this is some good stuff. So
you get to the top of the food chain where I grew up, bro. You were like a crawfish. and so you have to. I've had to disagree with my surroundings most of my life. Whether it was a sales job or the way I disagree with my mother. See, my mother was the one that was my guardian and the administrator. And what's the other one? Guardian.
Oh, no, to guide, to guard, and to govern.
Yeah, she tried guiding me, but she was a woman. No offense to women, but at 15 years old, I needed a man to guide me. I needed a strong hand. I needed that strong, deep voice.
I understand.
A woman can only do so much. So like, I'm not a good mother. I'm a good father. I'm not a good mother. And that's why the Grant Cardone Foundation like believes in the single family dilemma. Like it's a problem when there's no man in the household, just like if there's no woman. But the authenticity thing was like, okay, I don't fit into this middle class thing, this $50,000 a year thing. This is freaking terrible.
Yeah.
It's clear.
So let me ask you a question.
But hang on a second, because I'm watching my mom clip coupons. I'm like, how does this make any sense? She's taking money, she's putting money at the bank, and then she spends all her time trying to save something, and we can't even get the blueberries. Like she's pinching the pennies. And I'm like, okay, this doesn't work. So I tell her, she gets offended. Oh, you're so unappreciative. I'm like, okay, but this don't work. And I'm 15 years old. So I'm discovering that you talked about discovering.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to just make it. We weren't broke. So I couldn't say I don't want to be broke.
Mm-hmm.
Because she kept saying, we're in the middle class. You have it better than I did. I said, I don't want this. So that was the first one. Then I go to college. I hated that. So I used drugs the entire time just to get myself through. Then I went to the treatment center and they said, you're a drug addict. And I'm like, oh, okay, but that ain't my problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm telling you, drugs ain't my problem. Okay, not having the ability to be addicted, that could be a problem.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I think people need to be able to. Are you sure you want to stop scanning? Yeah, I don't want to scan anything. This thing's saying that I'm scanning something. Okay. Anyway, I said, look. So when I got in the sales job, I don't want to sell like this.
Yeah.
When I did speaking gigs and people pay me to speak, and then I go there, speak, and then they're upset because I didn't talk about X. Or I see it as a gift. Yeah, I'm with you. I agree with that.
I see it as a gift. I see it as somebody that sees things slightly different and it worked for them. You know, I was talking to, and I got to say this, it's not name dropping, but it was just a great conversation. I was sitting with Bjorn Borg. Remember Bjorn Borg?
Sure, sure.
We had this 3-hour conversation in Stockholm, Sweden. And he said that everybody was trying to make him where he was not so stoic.
Mm-hmm.
He said, but Tim, but it was that made me great at what I did.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I just studied my opponent and it just worked for me. And he said, and even if a guy was beating me the first few games, I just stayed in that mode and just watched his game and decided how I was going to pick it apart later.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was brilliant.
It's
really
hard,
brilliant.
It's hard to be yourself, man.
Yeah.
Society.
Yes.
Gets a little easier when you get success. That's why I say success is my duty. I don't say that because I'm trying to get money. I say it's my duty to be me. Like nobody ever asked me those questions, right? Success is my duty because it allows me to be me. It reinforces that I'm on the right track. It says I'm doing things more right than wrong.
Okay, so let me tell you something that I did.
And so just when adding value, like you talked about, because you called me recently and said, let's do this thing. I'm like, dude, I don't think the play's here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I need to pick things. People are like, oh, Grant only does stuff for the money. I do things that I know will make a difference. That like, hey, there was a certain amount of energy was put in and I get a certain amount of energy back.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I said yes to this thing because I know the return on energy is going to be good.
Yeah, that makes sense. So about several years ago, I interviewed 20 people that do well in their craft.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that in the middle of doing well in your craft, did you ever feel like you sucked? Even in the middle of being on top. And you don't have to say this is the same with you, but all 20 said, I felt like I sucked. I mean, from actors to athletes to major entrepreneurs, not saying that they felt like they sucked in every area of their life, but yeah, they felt like they sucked pretty good, at least in one area.
I would say on most everything that I do, I'm average.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, there's some things I do, I know I'm extremely gifted.
Okay.
So like the real estate thing, it is a complete gift. 100%, I have like a tuning fork. I don't know if I developed it or it was given to me. I just know I have it. I know other people that have it too, but I have a very strong tuning fork. Like,
can I just take you somewhere to, let's go to Las Vegas, last 10X. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
And the place is packed out and Kevin Hart comes rolling through in his white sweatshirt, nice hoodie.
Yeah, yeah.
He'd been in the back talking to Elena, you, and the girls and a few other people. It's Kevin Hart. He's one of the biggest stars in the world. And
he was very comfortable.
He's very comfortable. And I just watched the interview again today. And I thought you did a really good job interviewing him. At moments like that, when you see the place packed and, you know, the message is literally going to go around the world. People were watching it around the world. What are you feeling like at that moment? Are you able to take it in?
Well, with Kevin, I was able to.
Okay.
So,
tell me why.
Well, with Kevin was my favorite speaker of the event. And yeah, the reason why is, you know, most of these guys, I haven't spent a lot of time with most of these guys before the event. And me and Kevin Hart could have talked for 3 days without even a preparation.
I saw that.
You know, Kevin, it also, I was learning something while I was talking to him, which was the power of stand-up comedy, the power of, what's it called when you make it up as it goes?
Yes, to improvise.
Improvise, the improvisation. Okay. Well, I've always wanted to be a comedian, dude.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I haven't done in my life is I want to do the Friday night comedy club.
Yeah.
And I want to see if I can do 15 minutes. Okay, because you're laughing, but
No, but you can. To be
I hope-
honest with you, you can.
I hope the audience laughs like you did. I
No,
hope
but
they-
you can because you're doing it already.
yeah, and so being with him, as opposed to Mayweather or even Travolta or Dana
Magic
White was,
Johnson,
yeah,
Dana White.
Dana was incredible. That was easy,
I
right?
saw that today too. That was a great interview.
That was unbelievably easy for me, right? I don't like doing interviews. They're very, very, extremely, they take a lot of energy from me. I don't know why I don't like doing them. And because I don't think I'm good at them.
Oh yeah.
So the thing with Kevin though, see me and Kevin, it was just, it's all ad lib. It's improv. And it reminded me of my stand-up days selling.
Wow.
Because I was on improvise 24/7. I guarantee you, I've done more live stand-up than Kevin Hart has by 100 times. And
Yeah.
he's done a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
But I was doing cold pitches. I was doing 7 and 10 a day. Every day. For 2 years, I was on the road. One time I didn't come home for 150 days.
Yes.
250 days, I did not come home. And I was out pitching. I was out doing my deal. I was learning my craft. I didn't know it, that I was learning my craft. But it reminded me when I was with Kevin, I'm like, shit, I could do comedy with this guy. Right? He said something about dickhead. And I said, did you call me a dickhead? It was just, right?
No, it was great banter.
Yeah, and he's extremely intelligent. And he has that range I talked about. He's not a scripted guy. He can do scripted, but he can do anything. He can talk business. He can do funny. He can talk to the audience. He can talk to me. He can be available. He can shift extremely fast without any gimmicks. And I think the thing that we have in common is he's authentic and he's transparent. He don't hide any boogeymen.
He does not. You're right.
He's going to be like, here's my sins. Now what you got?
Yeah.
Because once you can do that with people, once you can tell people, hey, this is where I'm imperfect. Okay. Now what you got? Now they can't hold anything over.
That's very powerful. And I like how he did that on your stage.
Mm-hmm.
He was very, very honest, as you're saying, about his challenges. He's had challenges in his relationship, challenges in a lot of things that he's done. A lot of projects did not work, and he was on. There's power in honesty. There's power in deciding to change and get better.
Yeah, and he knows it comes to an end. That's the other thing that I really liked about it. He knows. If you listen to the Kevin Hart interview, what you're going to really hear under there, the most powerful takeaway for me is this can all go away.
Yeah.
Wait, that was 2 weeks before it would all go away.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you two more questions.
Because he's not working right now either. Just
imagine that, because he was packing out these places, 18, 19,000 every night.
Dude, he's not working on his movies either.
Just amazing. Okay. So, you do this thing in your car about confessions, and you had me on it and other people where we confess, and you said to one guy, pretend I'm the priest.
Yeah.
So pretend I'm the priest now.
Uh-oh, don't touch me.
So what is one thing that you're admitting that maybe you should soften up on? Is there anything in your life that you should?
Well, you obviously, Father, think that I should soften up.
My son, on a couple areas.
Yeah. First I hit back extremely hard. I can make things public. What else could I do different? I mean, I could be a much better husband. I could be much more loving, and I need to learn how to come out of the warrior posturing constantly.
Man, I'm liking how you're talking right now.
Oh yeah, of course you do. Of course you like all this. You like all the vulnerability. Okay.
Bless you, my child.
Yeah. So I could go for a longer play. I could be less less immediate. Let's get it now.
Yeah.
You know, a lot, dude, there's so many things. I am a bad man.
You're a good man
Yeah.
who is getting better.
Yeah.
And you outlived your father and I outlived mine. How strange is that? You know, both of our parents, our fathers died when we were both 10.
Yeah.
We both come from families that have 5 kids. You're the youngest, I'm the youngest. So there's part of that connection. But for me, in some of the crap that went down in my life, because, you know, you stayed married to the same amazing woman. I got divorced and I was a famous minister. That sucked. Because that's when they really tried to shame me and throw all kinds of guilt on me. That was a terrible feeling, Grant.
I bet.
And so, but what I had to do is I had to face my own facts and think, you know, maybe at times I did put things in front of my family, et cetera. And I chose to get better. I feel like I become a better man for it, but that's not going to take away my strength. I'm still going to be strong. But I have become a better man. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So the last question is, tell us what your life's going to be like in about 3 years, and give me something positive. See, because I need to know that you're coming through. Okay. So, let me just say this, just because if as you said before to me in private, and I've seen you in other interviews, the father can set the tone for the doggone house. Kids are watching. Mm-hmm. Not always what we say, it's a feeling. They can feel our moods, right? So help set the tone.
Okay.
3 years.
So the next 2 years is going to be extremely, extremely rewarding for those that are prepared.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's going to be very, very ugly for many people. I was built for this moment. I'm gonna tell you my personal thing. My personal thing is like, I come out of this. This will look like it was a gift given to me, designed for me, and I'm going to come out looking very right about a lot of things. I've been warning people about this event.
Yes.
You could go 2 months before this event, and I did 3 interviews the same week that said we will end up with unemployment in America. Before there was any COVID-19, there was no Chinese Wuhan. So we will have the highest unemployment in the history of my lifetime. This is less than 2 months before this event. I've been warning people about buying houses. I've been telling people don't save money at the bank. You have to learn how to invest money. Don't be on Instagram watching everything on Instagram and Facebook. You have to find some people to study people. Don't watch them.
That away.
Don't listen to them. See what they're doing.
Yes.
You can see what they're doing. Don't listen to what they say. If they won't give you a peek at their books, what they're doing, what is actually happening in their life, then you know you're going to be misled. And so for me, I mean, I'm probably on the biggest run of my life.
Yeah.
Here in the next 3 to 5, and it could be unbelievable. Like if this treats me any way like 2008, I was made out of 2008. You know, you wouldn't know me if it wasn't for 2008, 9, and 10.
That makes sense.
For what I did after that. That was only 12 years ago. So if this thing ends up treating me half as good as 2008, 9, and 10, contractions are really good for me. They're good environments. They're those Mike Tyson moments. It's so much necessity that you either wilt or you finally become that piece of coal that finally becomes into that diamond. And,
yes.
And I want to help people. I want to help a lot of people in the next 3 years. Like, help the ones I can't help. I can't help everybody. Because not everybody wants it the way I deliver it.
Yes. So I hear you saying to us, it is going to be difficult and even more than difficult at times, but there is a way up and out. I believe that there is a way
It's just whether you're going to be bigger or smaller.
Yeah.
And if you can make sense of smaller, I'm not your guy. If you want to make sense of bigger, more, infinite possibility, if you want to have, I told my sister, I said, I'm going to do something biblical in this lifetime.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean everybody needs to like it. Everybody out there needs to remember, man, they hung Jesus up.
Yeah.
Tortured him for 3 days.
Yeah.
Most people wilt when they get a little bit of, they don't even get a like on Facebook, and they're like, that hurt. They strung Jesus up, man. Like I could only be so honored.
Yeah.
To do something so significant that I would change the way everybody thinks about their life, their family, their time, their money, their spirit, who they are. But I need probably more than 3 years, Tim, and I need you on my side the whole time.
I'm there. And let me just say this, because I get to be around some amazing men. I mean, I would have these talks, Grant, with Charlton Heston. I used to go to dinner probably once a month with Tony Curtis for the last 3 years of his life.
Wow.
And
I would have liked him.
Yeah, just a really smart man. And one of the things is there's a backstory to people. And I think if people would just stay quiet and look at your backstory of what you came from and how you came up and how you worked through things, then they wouldn't be so quick to just mouth off.
Tim, I think that people, for me, I don't think anybody should take the time to study my backstory. Personally.
Yeah.
I think people should, rather than spending time on my backstory, they should maybe look at why they're being so critical.
Yeah.
And that for me, me being critical of other people is always an indicator of something about me.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I see you on stage, man, like when I see you kind of like float and move, and like, I don't envy it. I'm like, hey, I don't do that because I don't prepare to do that.
Yeah.
And it's not what I do. It's what you do. So, envy for me is always about scarcity. And criticizing other people is always about me not minding my own business, minding, making my business work.
Yeah. So
anybody that needs to take time to study my personal backstory to figure out who I am, dude, I think you people are better off. Why don't you just look at your future story? Where are you going? All I want is somebody that can help me. I don't care if I like them.
Yeah.
I
like that. I like that change of direction that I brought one thing, and I like where you took that.
I'm just saying, like Warren Buffett. I don't look at Warren's backstory. I look at Warren's whole story.
Okay.
I want to study when he went to how he grew up, all the way, the entire story. I connect with his success, and I think too many people are. I've had this conversation with Toastmasters, speakers. They're like, you need to go back. You need to spend more time on PR people. You need to spend more time telling people where you came from. I'm like, I don't want to spend time. My audience, I want to connect with people that just want to know, dude, I want some of that.
Yeah.
What are you doing now? Because for me, it's like asking a musician to play that first hit over and over and over again.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
But I appreciate that you can defend my backstory because you know who I really am.
Yeah, it takes one to know one. And even when I get around your brother Gary, I look at you guys, I'm like, these are guys that they came from a regular family, and look at this damn impact that life allowed them to have, and to see your family happy, to see your girls get up on stage this last time, my gosh, both of them did. They were shining. They were so good. And they came up with their own content.
Wrote their own speeches.
Yeah. All right. So last thing to your fans that are out there watching, are you going to go on tour? I mean, I saw,
100%.
we followed you all over the world as you were going.
100%. You know, I mean, I'm opening Monday. I was going to open whether they open I'm done. I'm going back to doing live events. I'm probably going to get arrested somewhere doing one.
Yeah.
July, August, September, October, we have events in Miami. If you want to come down, please, man. Then I'm gonna take them to the 50 states. I was losing money on them when I had 2,000 people in the room.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be 800 people, but whatever. I'm coming back. I want to come back. People need contact. We got enough Zoom going on. This is not the way for people to connect.
Yeah. Grant Cardone. This is a good conversation.
Conversations that bring change.
Bring a change.
You changed me. I changed tonight.
I care about you, man. You see it. You see it in my eyes when I'm around you. Because I know what it takes to be the front guy and just take those shots, man. And guys just grabbing at me. That's what was happening to me when I was doing my other stuff. So that's one reason I look at you. I'm like, I'm gonna stand with this rascal.
Really, I wrote that down too, man. So, I appreciate you, Tim Storey. Stand next to the person. Find somebody to stand next to.
Yeah.
Just make sure they are where you want to be. I love that. I love that. And I think a lot of people have problems thinking they can, stand next to someone. Everybody wants to be the one star in the sky.
Yeah. Hey, that was cute.
Yeah.
All right. Take care of those cats. I appreciate you taking time on this Sunday night. And life is good. And I'll see you. I'm going to come to Miami coming up real soon. And let's dialogue.
Anytime, man. I love you, Tim Storey. Be great.
I love you too. Bye-bye. That's Grant Cardone. So many takeaways. I have a lot of papers in front of me, a lot of preparation. I like to prepare. I asked a lot of people what they wanted me to talk to them about. Use some of the information tonight. I love the way this interview just took its shape and just went the way it went. And I believe that there's a lot of takeaways from what we dialogued about. So Tim Storey Live, we're learning, huh? Conversations that bring change and conversations that matter. I want to talk about some of the sponsors that helped sponsor this. Real Top Marketing with Nikitas, realtop.com. We work with business owners to create, deploy, optimize, manage incredibly profitable marketing campaigns. We're going to give all their information to you online. Also, I want to thank JD Frost, my good friend. I'm really proud of you, JD, for what you're doing. And that is at www.frostcpas.com. We'll give all the information there. He does accounting services, assurance services, compliance, IRS resolution, bookkeeping services, and just a stand-up individual as well. All his information is there. JD, thank you for being a sponsor. I think several times that you've done this. My good friend, JJ, JAR Real Estate Sales Coach. All his information is right there. He's coming up strong, boy. And if Grant's still watching this, JJ is coming up strong. Real estate sales coach, top real estate agent, public speaker, podcast host. I'd like to thank also Martha Sanchez. She's from RE/MAX. Martha, thank you for doing that. She's a top producer at RE/MAX, help buyers and sellers in Southern California region. All her information we will put there. Thank you, Martha. That was nice of you. Last minute came in as a sponsor. My good friend, Amy Van Slambrook. I think one of the best psychologists, one of the best psychotherapists and coaches that we have on the planet. AmyVanSlambrook.com And I want you to follow her starting tonight, amyvanslambrock.com. She's really good in the area of trauma and relationships, okay? If you've had trauma in your life, which a lot of us have, relationships, please look up Amy Van Slambrook. And Amy, thank you for doing this. Albert Preciado. Albert is a friend, albertpreciado.com, speaker, radio host, investor, CEO, the mortgage guys, doing some really, really good things. And it was actually through Grant Cardone that I got to know Albert. And Albert, proud of what you're doing for people, for people's lives. And anytime I need something and we're trying to sponsor something, I look to Albert and Seal, and they always back us up. Also, the Congregation Church, which I'm the lead pastor, and a lot of you watch me. We get about 17,000 people viewing me every Sunday morning at the Congregation Church. It's a church that's only 5 years old. Congregation Church, thank you guys for backing this up. So I'd like to thank all of my sponsors for helping. So this has been Tim Storey Live. I want to thank Joseph Mendoza, who's been a great producer, director, helping with this. I'd like to thank my son, Isaiah Storey, who is helping produce behind the scenes and take photos. Also, we got Derek, we got Drew, we got Jay Schwo, Josh Schwodick. I'd like to thank my friend Diane Hudson, who has helped me with some ideas on producing. Also, my good friend Paul Lambert helped me with some ideas. And many, many of you, Spencer Proffer, different people that add value to what we're doing. And guys, just so you know, it's working. It's working. So share, share, share because you care. I think this was a real conversation. A lot of takeaways, and we just kind of learned and lived tonight. So thank you for watching Tim Storey Live, and we will see you next week.